I found this recipe tucked inside an old recipe box that was mostly filled with recipes from the 1980s. And since zucchini is my favorite vegetable, I knew I had to try it. Fair warning though, this is definitely more work than just throwing zucchini on the grill. You start by hollowing out each zucchini, chopping up the centers, and cooking that down with tomatoes. Then you mix everything together with breadcrumbs, cottage cheese, and an egg before stuffing it all back into the zucchini shells. The whole thing goes into the oven until the zucchini is tender, then you pull it out and top it with cheddar cheese. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I love cheese, so I doubled the amount the recipe called for. Then it goes back into the oven for a few more minutes until the cheese is melted, golden, and perfectly gooey. This recipe definitely took longer than I expected, but I have to say it was well worth it. I used golden zucchini that I picked up from the farmer's market that morning instead of traditional green zucchini. They're just a little sweeter and they worked beautifully in this recipe. I also think this is one of those recipes that really reminds you how differently people used to cook. It's simple ingredients, nothing fancy, but there's an actual process to it. You're not just opening a bag or tossing everything into one pan. You're taking the time to scoop, chop, mix, stuff, bake, and finish it with cheese. And honestly, I kind of loved the process. It feels very much like the kind of dish someone would have made for company or brought to a family dinner when they wanted something that looked a little special but still used everyday ingredients. And I will say, while I was making it, I was not totally convinced it was going to be worth all the steps. There was a point where I had zucchini shells on one side, the tomato and zucchini pulp simmering on the stove, and I was trying to read my way through the recipe card. I felt like it was a lot for a vegetable side dish, but that's part of what made me so curious about it. Vintage recipes always have that little moment where you start wondering, is this going to be amazing or is it going to be very, very questionable? And thankfully, this one landed firmly in the amazing category. And that's the best part. It completely exceeded my expectations. The filling was creamy and flavorful, and the zucchini stayed tender without getting mushy. Even my son-in-law, who usually is not a fan of tomatoes, loved it. And that's when I knew this one was something special. I would make it on, would I make it on a random Tuesday night? Probably not. It was a little labor intensive. But for a Sunday family dinner or a holiday meal or anytime you wanted to bring something a little unexpected to the table, absolutely.